Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwaraha. Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namastasya, 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 Namo Namaha. Om Shrim, Hrim, Shrim, Kamale, Kamalale, Prasida, Prasida, Om Shrim, Hrim, Shrim, Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Krishna Govinda, Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Om Namo Narayanaya. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Hanumanji Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Hanumate Bhayabanjanaya. Sukham Kuru Kuru Phat Swaha. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to Daily Satsang, Nitya Satsang. Today is the 3rd of January 2026. I want to offer prostrations, Anantakoti Namaskaram, Anantakoti Danvat Pranam, Anantakoti Pushparpanam at the feet of all the great sages present on the planet today, yet to come in the future, in the past, who have come in the past, and to the one Param Tattva, Bhagavat Tattva Paramatma, residing everywhere at all times in all places, in everyone's heart. We are continuing to examine and to better understand Upasana. If you're taking notes, I really, Sachin's Prarthana hai ki aap notes, hopefully you're writing notes. All this, of course, is recorded. But keep these points in mind. These are some of the terminology that we are working with, have been working with for the last many months, and will continue in this year on this path further. So a couple of terms to be very clear as to what they mean. Upasana is the understanding that Bhagavan, the Ishta, the chosen deity, is Sakar with form, Sarvopari, top, the source of all incarnations, Sarva Karta Harta, the all-doer. Everything is happening by his will, by the Ishta's will. And Pratyaksh and Pragat. Pratyaksh means you can see with your eyes. That which is beyond, transcendental, that which is unknowable is present in front of me. This internal belief, internal anchoring, internal Shraddha that Bhagavan has is Sakar, Sarvopari, Pratyaksh, Sarvakarta, Harta. When this is solidified towards one Swarup, one Roop and one Swarup, you can say. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The Murti that is in front of us. And of course, enlightened saints. All enlightened saints are respected. Everybody's respected, of course. All great sages. So, when this understanding solidifies, understanding, faith, Shraddha, when this solidifies towards one Swarup, our bhakti that was in different Swarupas, Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, Ganeshi, Hanumanji, Lalita Devi, Mahalakshmi Devi, so many, hundreds of Swarupas are there in Sanatana Dharma, thousands maybe. That's fine. Always there's respect and adoration for all. But a point comes when all of that Shakti that has been going in different Swarupas, with different mantras and different stotras and all, so many, like Shiv Sahasranam is different from Vishnu Sahasranam, that's different from Lalita Sahasranam, like that, right? Hopefully that's clear. When the Ishta is chosen, then 90% of sadhana is done in relation to that Ishta Devata. 90% sadhana. And when that is chosen and it is clear, it is firm, it is through proper study, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, so many things, then there is no power anywhere that can change that Swarup Nishtha. Swarup Nishtha kabhi bhi badalni nahi. Once you are clear, once it is developed, it is not to be changed at all. If it feels like it's going to be changed, that means it's not developed properly. You see, so the development of Swarup Nishtha, Bhagavan ki Nishtha, there's nothing like that. There's nothing. Again, one has to be very, very, very careful, because there are quite a few paramparas today, organizations today, throughout the world, that have this concept, that are promoting this concept. Quite a few. I can show you the whole list. There's so many. Fine, beautiful. There's no issue. That's what's needed, actually. But watch out. There are several problems that can happen in this path. The number one problem is that me, my group, my Ishta is better than everybody, beyond everybody. I'm something superior. AHANKAR will come inside this. If that happens, one is finished. And that's happened to a lot of people, unfortunately. Even today it is there. Swarup Nishtha, Bhagavan ki jo divya साकार उपासना, सर्वोपरि उपासना जिसको कहते हैं, इसमें कोई अहंकार का कोई स्थान नहीं है. On the contrary, the ahankara is dissolved at the feet of God, at the feet of the Ishta. On the contrary. But what has happened and continues to happen, and what will happen also in the future, is the ahankara will get involved in this. Superiority. We are better than others. Groupism. Groupism is poison. It is a poison to spiritual realization. Zher. It is a poison. Stay away from groupism. Groups are created simply for solidarity, for mahima, yes, they're good. Groups are necessary. But groupism through ahankar is a killer. It doesn't matter how much sadhana anybody has done. You could do years of sadhana. If groupism shows up, it's destroyed completely. Totally nash ho jata hai. Jitna spiritual effect hi kuch nahi rehta. That's why people don't realize Bhagavan. Kaise Bhagavan, you think God is going to be realized through groupism? Impossible. This is a danger. It's not a criticism. Sachin is not criticism. हमारे तो किसी के साथ कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. भगवान मिल गए. भगवान का साक्षात्कार है ही उनकी दया से, और भगवान की कृपा है तो हम सत्संग कर सकते हैं. किसी के साथ क्या लेना देना? We're not trying to convince anybody of anything. But the point of the matter is that when humanity suffers because of ahankar, because of superiority, because of not appreciating and understanding other upasanas, other viewpoints. It's like saying, I'm worshipping Krishna. Fine, Bhagavatam mein jao, Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu mein jao, bahut shastra hai. But then the person says, Ram, forget about Ram, forget about Shiv, forget about this, forget about... Who are you to forget about them? वो सब पूज्य है. हमारा अहंकार comes into this picture here. I'm worshipping this Ishta, my Ishta is supreme, everybody else is less, everybody else is this, everybody else. कुछ भी ज्ञान नहीं है, कोई अनुभव भी नहीं है, nonsense बात लोग करते. This happens a lot. No point in discussing these things with them also. You cannot discuss these things with them. Because their buddhi is stuck and trapped. Unfortunately, unki buddhi has been stuck inside. They're stuck in one place. They cannot get out of that thing. Anubhav nahi hai. Bhagwan ki bhakti has not reached that stage, and kattarvadi ban jate hain. Kitne ban jate in every religion of the world. इसीलिए किसी की भी मुक्ति नहीं होती. Possible ही नहीं है. कभी भी नहीं होगी. It has to be obliterated. This groupism. Look at what the Gita is teaching. Sachin is not telling any of these things. ये भगवत गीता का ही सब सिद्धांत है. And this is why Gita has to be in the center. If we eliminate the Gita or put it secondary, we'll be in big trouble. The Gita doesn't say Shri Krishna Uvacha, Shri Ram Uvacha, Shiva Uvacha, Devi Uvacha, or anybody else. It says Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. वो एक ही तत्व है. And that Param Tattva is speaking in the form of Krishna, through Krishna, whatever you want to say, as Krishna, or Krishna himself. This fanaticism and Kattarvad has to be avoided. And this can happen very easily. Not only can it happen, it is mostly 90% present like this. Go to, I don't want to give any names of any organizations, any traditions, nothing. You already know what I'm talking about. It's already there. And it's very sad. It's very sad. I'll give you an example. One time I was giving a workshop through the state actually. And we had invited about 50 people who were all clergy. They were from different churches. Some Jewish people were there, and one imam was there also. Literally. And I was giving a workshop on addictions, and so they all came for that. And they all knew each other. But you know what they said? They said, this is the first time we have sat together with each other. And many of them admitted, we are so interested in criticizing each other, we don't even talk to each other. Is this spirituality? Ye adhyatma hai? Is that what Jesus taught? Is that what great saints have taught? हमारे संप्रदाय, ये जो सब सनातन धर्म में संप्रदाय, कितने ऐसे संप्रदाय, they don't go to each other's temples, they don't talk to each other, they don't like each other, they have lawsuits against each other. This is adhyatma? I'm just pointing it out as a danger. Isse dur rehna. If you see these things going on, get out of that thing. It's better to worship from afar. Mahima samajhna, अच्छे गुण लेना, leave them alone. You cannot do anything about them. They are trapped, permanently trapped. Because buddhi is trapped. You cannot talk to these people also about these things. Because otherwise you'll wind up in a lot of argument, and you don't want to do that at all. Don't argue with anybody. Mahima samajhna. उनकी वृत्ति कैसी है वो समझना. On that basis go. I have gone to many churches in the past. I've gone to many temples, many sampradaya. बहुत कितने, always with love and respect. That has to, पर हमारी जो उपासना है, that should be solid. भगवान की उपासना solid होनी चाहिए, but not with fanaticism. When Bhagwan Krishna says, Mai avesha mano emam nitya yukta upasate, is he saying to be fanatical? बिल्कुल नहीं. Not at all. To have groupism? Which group is there? Groupism is a spiritual killer. That's what that is. And it is destroying human to human connection. This is AHANKΑRA. It is the ugly ego showing its ugly face in spirituality. It doesn't belong. So be very careful. I'm pointing this out, taking some extra time talking about this, because this is a very, very, very dangerous thing. The sense of superiority. The sense that this is my mandir. Ye hamara mandir. I have heard these things also. Kitni terrible. How can anybody say such a thing even? Mandir kisi ka bhi mandir hai. It is for everybody. Every being, not just human beings. How can we use such language? See how much development is needed to grow from inside. Yes, one may have paramparas and different things are there. Traditions are, Christianity may be. In Christianity in the United States, there are some 50,000 denominations. ठीक है. People are fed up with these denominations, so now they open new churches called non-denominational churches. People go to them and say, we don't want to hear all this fanatical stuff. They got fed up with it. Think about it. This happened in Sanatana Dharma. It continues to happen today also. इसीलिए confusion क्या है? It's not criticizing anybody. It is a confusion about Ishta Devata. Jesus can be Ishta Devata. In Christianity में कौन इष्ट है? Jesus. Jesus is Ishta. I am the Lord, I am the way. Nobody cometh to the Lord except through me. He told Jesus, I don't want to go into the details of that now, It's a long story. But Christianity is based on Jesus and focus on one Ishta. Fine. But Jesus himself taught universality. Love your neighbors. Love everybody. कितना सिखाए. उनके teachings तो बहुत सुंदर है. No, see, every great master, every great guru, every great incarnation, every divine power, they have only taught only one thing. That is undisturbed love without boundary. That is the only teaching. There's no other teaching. The boundaries are where the problems come. There is no boundary. Prem or bhakti and upasana. Upasana is a more enhanced form of bhakti towards Ishta Devata. इसमें किसी की boundary है? Just because somebody loves Jesus, if you really love Jesus, the boundaries fall away. Because you're doing what he's asking you to do. If you really love Krishna, Mai avesha mano imam nitya yukta upasate. Nitya yukta upasate. Upasana Shabda is right there. See this word Upasana? It's right in the Gita, chapter 12. Upasana karna. Bhagwan ki upasana. Yes. So now let's go a bit further. So we've eliminated, hopefully, the obstacles. The obstacles are many in spirituality, and this is one of this groupism and all that. I don't want to keep talking about that. It's a trash baat hai wo. Uska bolna hi nahi chahiye on that point. But we have to say something because this is being recorded for the world community. So hopefully that'll be as a seva. It has to be eliminated. You cannot realize the Atma Tattva, Brahma Tattva, Para Brahma Tattva. Wo realization hota hi nahi unless this groupism is eliminated from the mind. You may be in a group, in tradition, culture, languages, that's going to remain. But from inside, that boundary has to be eliminated. And that prarthana can be done towards one's ishta. कि हे प्रभु, कृष्ण मेरे इष्ट है, राम जी इष्ट है, शिव जी इष्ट है, जो भी इष्ट है, उन इष्ट है, उनको प्रार्थना करना. हे महाराज, हे परमात्मा, आप दया कीजिए, तमें दया करो. दया कीजिए कि हमारे अंतर में और भक्ति का दान दीजिए. कितने सुंदर सुंदर भजन है. So many beautiful bhajans, kirtan, so many things are there. That is a prayer to eliminate the boundaries from inside. That is what Sri Krishna is teaching. Yomam pashyati sarvatra. You see me everywhere. How is it even possible to have that bhav that Bhagwan is existing in everyone, in every place? When the boundaries disappear. And that's the whole idea of Upasana. Upasana is a solidified Shakti that is dynamically flowing towards one Swarup. And that one Swarup is present in all, in everyone, in everything. And there is no divisiveness with anybody. It is a way to establish intense relationship. Why? Because our brain, our mind, our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, they function only in the context of relationship. They cannot function without relationship. Nobody can. Relationships are necessary. That's why although groupism is a problem, but groups are good. People come together, they sing together, they pray together, they play together, they take trips together, whatever. All those things. Very nice. It's a relationship. Relationship with other devotees, other bhaktas. Kitni sundar baat. It's not fanaticism. Human beings cannot live in isolation. But remember, when you are doing your upasana, when you're sitting for dhyan with Paramatma, that is not isolation. That is ekant. वो एक अलग बात है. That's a different matter. भगवान के साथ, to establish the link with the Ishta, it's only Bhakta and Bhagwan. Everybody else is there in life. It's okay. Let them be where they are. But there's no disturbance in the linkage. So the establishment of that link is necessary. We were talking about Ganeshji's last several days as an example. If you're going to worship Ganesha as a Ishta, the 90% time has to be spent with that one Murti. भगवान गणेश जी के सहस्त्र नाम है, मंत्र है, पूजन है, उनके साथ इतना प्रेम होता है. You fall in love with that Swarup completely. That is how it works. Respect all. सब पूजनीय है. भगवान is only one. It's not two. You can enjoy Ramayana, enjoy Bhagavatam, enjoy everything. But when it comes to Upasana, then it is all Sri Ganesha. Then you have to go deep into that. गणेश पुराण भी है, गणेश जी के मंत्र भी है, गणेश जी की कितनी साधना भी है, महागणपति का जो there are temples of that, there's the lineages, there's so much. I have actually a book here somewhere on the mantras of Ganesh. इतने मंत्र है गणेश जी के, my goodness, amazing, right? That is the krupa of all these sages. They have given this to us to do all this, and this is how you will notice the changes that happen. The first thing that will happen, we will become fearless. We become fearless because the feeling is so strong. The belief is that you are my Ishta, you're doing everything. And because there is love, it's not that one is trying to think of the Ishta. One is constantly aware of the presence of the Ishta. It's a big difference. When Sachin is trying to think of Ishta Devata, that is an effort being made. Okay, that's all right. But there's something better than that. It is effortless presence, Mahima. भगवान मेरे साथ ही है, बस पूरा हो गया. Stay with this notion. This is our sadhana for today. मेरे साथ मेरे इष्ट है. End of the matter. Finished. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to even think about at that point. मेरे साथ ही है वो. That intense shraddha. Krishna is with me, Ramchandra ji is with me. It's not like हम जो मंदिर में जाते हैं, we say मंदिर में दर्शन कर, we do darshan in the temple. Yes, fine. But when we are asking that Paramatma to be with us, and then that relationship is amazing. Bhajans, kirtans, mantras, it continues, because the rasa is there, the ananda that shows up, that relationship gets solidified, and in doing so, we get absorbed in that Bhagavad Swarup. That Swarup gets absorbed in us, and then the mystical dimensions. So many things happen at that point. Jagrat avastha changes, swapna avastha changes, our life experience changes. We can easily see, without any doubt, what is Maya. Maya ka swarup hum aise dekh sakte hain. By krupa, not by our efforts. Devi esha gunamai mama maya duratya mam evai prapadyante. Not by our egotistical, small-minded efforts. We have big egos, unfortunately. Manushya, human beings have huge egos. We don't realize. Kitna AHANKARA. It's not by our egos that Upasana gets solidified. It is by Sharanagati and Samarpan. Sharanam. It's an internal dynamic shift that thou art. You are the one. And in doing so, in making that shift, there is extraordinary transformation of Shakti. Shakti ka nash bilkul stop ho jata. The destruction of Shakti stops. And until that happens, if we do not stop the destruction of internal Shakti, that Upasana cannot be solidified. We'll be spinning. spinning around. God has given us intense power. Gnan Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. It is His power. Right now Sachin is speaking. Kiski Shakti hai? Unki Shakti hai. Hamara, there's nothing inside of us that is ours. Our ahankar thinks that everything is mine. Hamara kuch nahi hai in reality. This body that is here, this is a gift from Paramatma. That Shraddha, and Shankaracharya ji is clear. And it is very rare also. And it is Deva Anugraha Hetukam. We take it for granted. That this is just body is here, this is there. We live in ahankar, deha bhav. But when we stop taking it for granted, my God, God has given us this body, these hands, legs. Why He has given us? To do what? In Vachanamrut, this is discussed. It's amazing to me how everything is in Vachanamrut. Kya baat hai? How that is possible? That is grace, that is krupa. ये भगवान की असीम कृपा से होता है. These hands, take our hands for example. जो हाथ है, जो भगवान का पूजन करे, you know, the मीराबाई का भजन है. What is the purpose of these hands? Bhagvat puja. Pujan, archan. Using hands for rosary, jap mala. Using hands for seva. Not using hands to harm somebody, to harm yourself. It's a tool, right? The fingers that are there. Kitni daya hai. Do we have respect for the body? Let's talk about that for a moment. Have we actually stood in front of a mirror naked? Try it sometime. This might sound strange. You know that Mahavir Swami used to roam around naked. You know that, right? ऐसे बहुत संत हो गए. They lose. There's a reason behind that. Like Shukdev ji also walks naked. Not that we should be doing that, but try. You can do this much by yourself when nobody's there in a long mirror. See yourself without any clothes and see what happens. Who do you see? What do you see? Have we even seen our body? How can we see our mind until we see our body? Look at your hands. इसको examine करना. क्या चमत्कार है भगवान का. Genetics and epigenetics and all this. We take things for granted through ego. गुणातीतानंद स्वामी कहते जीव केवल कृतज्ञ है. भगवान ने आंख कान नाक शरीर सरस आप्યું. Ungrateful. We are ungrateful because of ego. What God has given us. And He's given us this sharir for upasana. Buddhi indriya mana pranam jananam asrujat prabhu matrarthancha bhavarthancha yatmane kalpanacha. Srimad Bhagavad में लिखा है. Why this body is here? This body is not given to damage the Shakti inside the body. Our ahankar knows only one thing, unfortunately. It knows how to damage the God-given Shakti inside. And then from that damage, Ichha Shakti, Gnan Shakti, Buddhi mein Shakti, Kriya Shakti, anant prakar ki Shaktiyon ko damage ahankar karta hai. And then you have problem after problem after problem after problem after problem. Addiction issues, relationship issues, financial issues, health issues, psychiatric issues. It just goes on and on and on. But to stop it, whatever may have happened, water under the bridge. Jagrut ban jao. Sajag. In Gujarati, we say sajag banvu. Be awakened. कि अभी जो अंतर में जो भगवत शक्ति है इसका नाश नहीं करना. Through काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मत्सर, आशा, तृष्णा, ईर्ष्या, अहंकार. Use that Shakti for अखंड उपासना. किसकी तैयारी है? Sachin is telling Sachin only, not anybody else. We have no authority to tell anybody anything. This that is being spoken is only for this mind. This is one of the things Sachin learned years back from many gurus. And one of the things that they taught was that when they are teaching or when they are talking, they're talking for themselves. Others may be benefited. That's up to them and God. There's only one person that needs to be improved, and that is oneself. Only one. Don't worry about everybody else. Everything will take care of itself. Jesus taught this in the Bible. Tomorrow will take care of itself. You keep attention on today. And when we do that, our solidification of nishtha means intense conviction and faith and shraddha, it gets absorbed inside that swarup. Bhagwan ke swarup mein itni ek alaukik, it is a divine sambandha, divya sambandha hai. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And then that anandam, it just grows, it just flows. It flows and grows and glows. 3 words. Ananda flows everywhere. It grows continuously, further into the ananta ananda. And it glows from inside. It is the glow of realization. Yes. That is where Upasana is absolutely fixed, and there's deeper and deeper and deeper level. And then Bhagwan darshan dete hai. If you are intent, mat paraha, Bhagwan Krishna kehte hai, you intent on me. Ya asita mat paraha. You are intent on my intent on coming to me, and you are not moving away from that. Bhagwan definitely आपके पास आ जाएंगे. He'll come to you. If you don't leave that Paramatma, if you don't back off, Bhagwan vash हो जाते. भक्ति और उपासना द्वारा भगवान vash means God becomes bound by the bhakti of the upasak. भगवान स्वयं बंधन में आ जाते हैं, भक्त के बंधन में आ जाते हैं वो. There are a lot of bhajans on this, कितने भजन है. See, like Radha ji has bound Krishna. Hanuman ji has bound Ram. Ram Bhagwan is bound by Hanuman ji. Amazing. Amazing baat hai. So when we recognize the bhakti is so special, and it will actually pull that Paramatma, not because of ahankar. Bhakti ka mahima aisa alaukik mahima hai that Bhagwan स्वयं वो भक्त के अधीन बन जाते, वो भक्त के भी भक्त बन जाते. God becomes that Paramatma, that Param Tattva in the Swarup that we're worshipping, becomes the Bhakta of the Bhakta. They become oneness. And it is indescribable. This cannot be described. It's very difficult to describe what happens actually. And keep in mind, all of the extraneous distractions, deficiencies, unnecessary divisions, 3 Ds, distractions, deficiencies and divisions are gone. All of them. अंतःकरण में से totally destroy हो जाते हैं. Distraction, division, deficiency, gone. And this is Guru Krupa. That going of those 3, that is Guru Krupa. So the Gurus that are there, उनका बहुत महिमा है. शंकराचार्य जी, रामानुजाचार्य जी, चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी, सजानंद महाराज, इतने कितने महान संत हो गए. Love them, respect them, learn from them, see their greatness. And in that development, in that beautiful development, all distractions go away. All deficiencies go away. All divisions go away. 3 Ds. Distraction, deficiency, and division. Gone. And they go completely as the Upasana with those 4 understandings, right? Sakar, Sarupari, Pratyaksh, Karta, Harta. With that, now your bhakti gets solidified. It destroys division, deficiency, all internal deficiencies. Toot jati hai. And that is an internal development. The Upasana and bhakti is happening inside. Gunatitanand Swami कहते अंतर मां भजन करता सीखू एमाती विषय न राग ओछाता है. It's an internal journey. It starts with external. Yes, that Paramatma is in front of me, and then that oneness begins. That internal connection is there. So that murti that is outside is actually then brought inside. It's inside. And then eventually that leads to Atmadarshan. I'll talk more about what exactly happens in that. But the point is our deficiencies are gone. Our distraction, all those distractions, nobody's bothering us in reality. We are bothered because we are bothered already inside. That's why we feel somebody's bothering us. Nobody on the outside is bothered. I mean, there are people, no doubt. I'm not saying, but we don't have to be disturbed because of that. We can choose. Sachin can choose whatever is going on. Sthita pragna, मैं कौन हूं? मैं मुक्त हूं. मैं भगवान का भक्त हूं. भगवान के शरण में हूं. ऐसी that kind of intense faith that nothing can happen in my life without that Paramatma's will. Fear goes away completely. This is the power of Upasana. Upasana ni Shuddhi. उपासना में इतनी अलौकिक ताकत है, अलौकिक शक्ति है. Absolutely amazing. And don't back off. Once you are getting attracted towards one Swarup, go further in that. Don't back off. You know, like we in our Mahalakshmi Mandir, they have now this Hanumanji ka ek separate mandir banaya. So there are devotees of just Hanumanji. There are 4 Swarup of Hanumanji in that temple. The one huge, biggest, tallest Hanumanji in the US, I think that's what something like that is. Karni Hanumanji ki Hanuman Sahastra, you can do it. So how to do that? There's a whole way to go about it. Kar sakte ho. And remember, whichever Swarup we are worshipping, the qualities of that Swarup will come inside of us. वो ध्यान रखना. भगवान के भाव से हम उनकी पूजा करते तो that is, भगवान का स्वरूप आता है ना, obviously, but they still have their own qualities. Like Guru Dattatreya, ज्ञान वैराग्य का क्वालिटी है तो वो आ जाएगा predominant. भक्ति तो है, but you cannot ask Guru Dattatreya about Vishaya Bhog and all that. That is not the right Upasana for that. विषय भोग करना है, आपको शक्ति की उपासना करनी पड़ेगी, शिव जी की उपासना करनी पड़ेगी. So the Ishta Devata is also chosen based on where you are in your sadhana, in your progression. I've seen on many occasions people are worshipping Bhagwan Swaminarayan or Bhagwan Dattatreya ji or some, even Jesus, in the case of Jesus, but you don't follow what he's asking you to do. सब वैराग्य का मार्ग है. So be careful. It's not just and you just pick somebody out of the blue. It's not like that. उनके qualities क्या है, उनका चरित्र क्या है. On that basis you can do the upasana. Upasana is not chosen just like that. It's the qualities that are of extreme importance. Like if you're doing upasana of Radha ji, so what is the main quality? Prem. But if you're doing upasana of Hanumanji, what is the main quality? Dasatva. Prem to hai hi. It's not like it's not there. It's there. But that dasatva bhav is predominant. See, so we have to be clear about the bhav that is predominating in the devata. उनमें किस प्रकार का भाव है? सब भाव, eventually as you progress further, it only leads to one tattva. It leads to only one place. Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. But these are starting points. If somebody's a karma yogi, wants to do a lot of good seva, this, that, respect all the swarup of Paramatma. Bhagwan Ram ki upasana is बहुत सुंदर है, Krishna की upasana सुंदर है इसमें. Very nice. Because they were karma yogis also. But if you're worshipping Mahavir Swami and you're primarily karma yogi, that is not the right upasana. Mahavir Swami is for akhanda vairagya, akhanda brahmacharya, akhanda ahimsa. Lot of tapasharya बहुत. You want to do all that? तो उनकी उपासना करना. जिसकी उपासना करते हैं ऐसे गुण आ जाते हैं. That's how life changes. That much is for sure. Somebody might say, I want to be very, very wealthy. Okay, karo Mahalakshmi ji ki upasana. Sooner or later, don't back off. You want that sakam bhakti? Karo. No problem. Somebody might say, no, I want to be the most knowledgeable person, have Nobel Prizes, be big professor, write books. Saraswati ji ki upasana kiji. But if you go further in any upasana, it leads to only one point. Eventually, it just leads to Brahman. But these are starting points. That's why the Upanishad says, Ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti, that there's many paths, but there's paths are many because of our tendencies are so many different kinds. No human being has the same tendency as somebody else. Tendencies are of different kinds. Our internal life is of a different type. On that basis, that kind of upasana has to be done. Yes, definitely. On that basis, that kind of upasana is done. It's very interesting. See, there's even something called Uddhav Gita. Uddhav Gita is, if you're making that like a secondary or major scripture, it is for sannyasis. Sannyasi meaning who have renounced the sansar completely. Avdut Gita, Uddhav Gita, ये जो दत्तात्रेय जी की उपासना है, it is for sannyasis, not for grahastashram. के लिए है ही नहीं वो उपासना. That is a mistake to worship Dattatreya ji in the grahastashram. You can respect Dattatreya ji. He will wipe out your whole life completely. If you go further in that upasana, turn it upside down completely, shatter everything inside out, because that upasana is for akhanda vairagya. वो बहुत आगे की उपासना है वो. That is not meant for the grahastashram. People don't know this thing. किसकी उपासना कर रहे हैं? On what basis you're doing the upasana? You see, you don't realize all this stuff. It happened in Swaminarayan Sampradaya a lot. महाराज सरोपरि है, महाराज ये है, वो है, so many things. जीवन कैसा है हमारा? जीवन where our vritti is going, our thoughts, our life is going contrary to what he is teaching. That's not उनकी उपासना. You cannot do that. इसीलिए शिक्षापत्र में कृष्ण की उपासना कीजिए, लक्ष्मी नारायण की उपासना कीजिए. You see, so these things are not understood by people. You can respect everybody, but if your upasana gets solidified, in fact, I'll give you one incident. When I was a child, when I was 7-8 years old, somewhere in Baroda, there was a great devotee, great female devotee. She was a Dattatreya ji ki bhakta thi wo. And she used to wake up at 4 o'clock because the mandir, she was living, had only 2 rooms. I remember this very well, going to this place. And she had this paduka, Datta Bhagwan ke this charan. She had 2 rooms. And the mandir would spark open at 4 a.m., like divine light will be there. And the flaps of the mandir will open and close, and there will be writing, divine writing. She was at that level of realizing everything was obliterated from her life. Whole family, sab destroy ho gaya tha. Nothing remained. भगवान का साक्षात्कार करना है, किसकी उपासना करते हो? Be careful whose Upasana you're doing. You have to be aware of whose Upasana you're doing. That is why Sachin has always stated Shiv Parivar. For Grahastha Ashram, Shiv Parivar is absolutely fantastic until you're ready for higher Upasana. It doesn't work like that. People think I can just worship. You will not, first of all, not be able to do it. And if you go further into that, things will begin to change that you don't know why they're changing like that. And this lady was a great devotee, and she was like that for years, and everything had blown away from her life. Because she had gone deeper. Bhagwan kehte, you want to come to Bhagwan Dattatreya ji ki Upasana. He will take everything away. And only so you can just remain only focused on him. Give you only that much so you can remain focused on him. If you go further in the Upasana. That Upasana is not for material wealth. People don't know this thing. I don't want to give the names. I've known some people who do Datta Bhagwan ki Upasana, and they are having 10 kids. Brahmacharya ka nash. You cannot do Dattatreya ji ki Upasana with this kind of nonsense. It will spin the life out of control. That's what that happened to so many people. Shiv ji ki Upasana karna. Shiv Ling ki Upasana karna. If you want to be involved in sansaric activities, Shiv and Shakti. You have to keep them predominant, because that is their whole realm is that. Upasana has to be, this thing that we're talking about, this is not a game. This is a very serious matter. Kiski Upasana karte ho? And on what basis that Upasana is done? What is the understanding of that Upasana? What is the background of that charitra? It's not an easy thing. So you have to do a lot of study before that Upasana is solidified. Respect everybody. Be very careful about whose Upasana. Because once you start that path, then Bhagwan is going to grab you. In that your path gets solidified. You have to be ready for what's going to come. Definitely. इसीलिए गणपति की जो भक्ति, शिव की भक्ति, देवी की भक्ति, this is absolutely necessary. Even if you're doing Dattatreya ji ki Upasana, anybody else's Upasana, इनकी भक्ति करनी ही चाहिए. So to protect from all the damage that might happen. Not that God doesn't cause damage, but उनका quality ऐसा है. Guru Dattatreya ji was a roaming saint in the jungles. Is that what you want to be? Think about it. Just think about this for a moment. Sajanand Swami Maharaj, जिसको भगवान स्वामीनारायण कहते, he was also a roaming saint. Who is a akhanda brahmachari. People are worshipping Bhagwan Swaminarayan because they want kids. Kitni nonsense about it. That's not that Upasana is not for that. For that. So we don't realize all these things, and this is where all the trouble begins in spirituality also. Because our deficiencies are so much, and we have not cleared them out. We're not ready for those higher upasana. It's like somebody saying, I'm just going to wear this t-shirt and shorts and just sit in the space shuttle and just go into outer space. You think that that's going to happen? You'll wind up destroying yourself. You cannot go there like that. So some people start doing this Ashtanga Yoga sadhana without proper physical guru. They get stuck somewhere. I've met people like that too. They get trapped somewhere in between. So spirituality is playing with energy and mind and consciousness and all that. You have to be very careful. इसीलिए बहुत शंकर भगवान का जो मंत्र है, Om Namah Shivaya mantra, that is absolutely necessary for everybody. Doesn't matter who's Upasana. Upasana की बात आगे आएगी. Get the system fixed. Fix it up. Get it ready. Our internal system has to be ready to handle the higher upasanas. Otherwise, it will cause lot of spinning. It's happened to a lot of people. And then it causes fear. And then it causes conflict. And then it causes jumping from one deity to another. Abhi iski puja, abhi iski puja. ये सब fear-based religion होता है. That's why, again, with all humility and at the feet of Paramatma, Bhagavad Gita ka pura abhyas karna. Go deep into the Gita ji. the chosen deity that you like, fine. You may start that. You're not going to realize God is not going to come to us like that. Just once you go further, understand the qualities of that Swarup. भगवान राम का जो स्वरूप है वो मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम है. भगवान कृष्ण का स्वरूप है वो लीला पुरुषोत्तम है. They're different charitras. Their qualities are different. They have their own qualities. You see, so if you're worshipping Sri Krishna, yes, you can. But it is to follow his words in the Gita, not his charitra. As such, you cannot really follow that charitra in that way. Right? But Bhagwan Ram का क्या है? उनका चरित्र follow करना है. That's a difference. So it depends on the upasana. You see, so that is why Guru Parampara is absolutely essential. The Guru Parampara shows where that upasana leads, how to do the upasana, what is involved in the upasana. This is how it works actually. Then the proper setting happens. Yes, if you're a retired person and you want to do Guru Dattatreya ji ki upasana, kitne Marathi mein incredible scriptures hai. My God, Das Bodh is there and so many scriptures are there. Avadut Gita, Das Bodh is there. There's other scriptures. Kitne bhajan kirtan hai. For Guru Dattatreya ji ki upasana, my God. Yeah, it's not like material things may not happen. They may, but it will eventually get wiped out. If you go further in Dattatreya Upasana, material life will get completely obliterated. That is the power of those mantras and of the sadhana itself. He will not allow, because you're resonating with supreme consciousness, with Brahman. Guru Dattatreya ji is Brahman himself. There's no middle ground in that. there's no middle ground in that. ऐसी बात है. This is why Shiv Parivar. This is a starting point. Stay with Shiv Parivar and then continue other upasanas in time. And when the time comes, then you can go further and solidify in Krishna or Ramchandra ji or Dattatreya ji or Bhagwan Swaminarayan or Hanuman ji or even Ramakrishna Paramans. Ramakrishna Paramans ki log upasana karte. If you want to worship Ramakrishna Paramans, you have to see what is his teaching. Before you select that upasana, go through his every single word he spoke. Go through Vivekananda Swami's teachings also. और वो कैसे थे, उनका क्या ज्ञान है? What he's asking you to do, are you ready to do that? Then the upasana. Otherwise, respect and bhakti and bhajan kirtan, those just samanya bhakti, that's not an issue. That's no big deal in that. वो तो सब लोग करते. We're talking here about people who are like intensely focused on one swarup. That this is my ishta and I'm going to go all the way in that. That's what we're talking about here. इसके लिए अभ्यास होना चाहिए. Ask questions. Know what that swarup is all about. And on that basis, then if you fall in love with it and this is your life, then go for it all the way. Then go for it all. It happens in Christianity, right? That's what Christianity is all about. They said Jesus' life is like this. These are his teachings. You come to him, you get salvation. Whatever their principles are, you fall in love with that. You want to go into it and see what happens. Find out what is in that path. If you find out what अनुभव इसमें क्या होता है. अनुभव का प्रश्न है ये. But whatever the qualities that Jesus has, Jesus himself said, each person has to. If you follow me, you have to also go on the cross. You have your own cross. Think about that. And it happens, people who are deeply devoted to Jesus, वो सब संत का मार्ग है. I'm talking about real devotees. All the nonsense things go away from one's life. And the deficiencies come up and they are destroyed. It is called the great exchange in Christianity. Jesus की उपासना करनी है. It is going to change things significantly if it's real upasana. ऐसी बात है. ऐसा भगवान का महिमा है. Now, if you want material things and you also want the realization, Devi ki upasana. Devi ki upasana is the only upasana where both are present. Nobody else. That's why Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche Swaha. This is the bridge between the two. There's no other upasana anywhere that is the bridge between these two worlds, two layers. One is the material realm that is called bhukti, and the mukti. Uska jo bridge hai, that is only Devi and nobody else. And that is necessary for everybody. Because without that bridge, one cannot, it's like, you get trapped in the material world. We want best experiences in the material world without getting trapped in the material world. Isn't that so? That is Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche. That's what that mantra, that is the Krupa of Devi. That is why Bhagwati ki upasana, Shri ki upasana, Mahalakshmi ji ki upasana, unki bhakti, even if you don't want to do upasana, unki bhakti to karni hi chahiye. Because you're living in the material world with this material body. If we have something goes wrong with the body, don't we go to doctors and hospitals and all these things? Why? What is that not Shakti? Wo Shakti ki upasana hai. Until we get the divine body in the abode, Shakti ki upasana, Shakti ki bhakti karni hi chahiye. There's no choice. There's no choice in this matter. If you want to do Jesus ki upasana, Dattatreya ji ki upasana, Sajanand Swami Maharaj ki upasana, Mahavir Swami ki upasana, ye jo sab param gyani vairagya, purna vairagya from the sansar. You want to do that? Is that what you want? Then do that upasana. But even that, have the support of Shakti to free us from Mahamaya, to clear the path. And Bhagwan karte. Bhagwan is going to clear that path one way or another. But we should be clear where we are now and where we are headed. If we are not clear within ourselves, we will wind up getting absolutely confused. Hamare mein hi clarity nahi hai. On the lip service, I want to realize God, as if we're going to buy some bananas in the store somewhere. It's not like that. Where are we inside our heart? What we want inside our heart? Are we at that point where all desires are gone completely? Vihaya kaman yaha sarvan pumans charati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankara samasukha dukkakshami. Are we at that stage? And if we're not at that stage, you have to do Shakti ki bhakti karni chahiye. Ye Aim Bij mantra, Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche, unki bhakti karni hi chahiye. There's no choice in this matter. Otherwise, what will happen? The system will get imbalanced. I have seen this happen with Swaminarayan devotees. They are deeply devoted to Bhagwan Swaminarayan and they're maintaining certain vasanas. Sorry, no way. You cannot do that. It will screw up your system completely inside out. You cannot do it. That mantra, Swaminarayan is a mantra. Or Brahmacharya, you don't want to follow Brahmacharya, you don't want to follow this or don't want to follow that. Kisi ka augund hai na, kisi ka ye karna, wo karna, this. You want to keep doing all this nonsense and do this upasana, your all chakra system will get completely shattered. Watch out. Which upasana we're doing? What is the destination? Unka criteria kya hai? On that basis, that upasana is done. And if you're not ready to do this kind of upasana, general bhakti karna, Bhagwan ki bhakti karna, Bhagwan ek hi hai, bahut prem rakhna, Shiv mantra karna, Namah Shivaya mantra karna, Aim mantra karna. This is enough. For most human beings, this is more than enough. These other things are very advanced ideas. And you have to be really ready for that. Otherwise, you don't go into those things unless you're really ready for that. For example, in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya, the criteria is saintliness, sadhuta. Sadhuta nahi rakhni, you want to keep doing nonsense things in life? I cannot tell you how many people I have met who come to these Swaminarayan temples. They're not actually devotees. They don't put the tilak or anything like that. Devotees are one thing. They come and go. They're not actually there for, they're a little bit of here is the socialization. Devotion is okay. But the serious upasana is a different matter. It's a whole different matter. And there's a criteria, there's certain rules to follow, there's a way to follow. Even in the Vaishnava Sampradayas, it's like that. Once you go further, but the difference is with Shiv and Shakti, you can start anywhere, as you are. It doesn't matter how many vasanas or anything you may have. You start worshipping them, they will clean it all up. And they will find, there's something amazing happens in that. That technology, only they have that. Nobody else has that, because that is a base, and then from there you can go further, right? So these some things to keep in mind. ध्यान रखना. So people are sometimes worshipping Hanuman ji because they want to get married. कितनी मूर्खता है. You think that Hanuman ji की उपासना में से marriage हो जाएगा? He's a total brahmachari. You know, you can do Hanuman Chalisa and with Mahima, पर उनका Hanuman Chalisa का meaning क्या है? किसकी उपासना कर रहे हो? And what you're wanting. If you want, this is Sachin, I'll close with this point. If we want anything in the material world, you have to worship Shiv. Shiv and Shakti. And of course, Ganesh ji is always there. That's the Prathama Puja. उनके बिना ये material world चलता ही नहीं, and material world में कुछ होता भी नहीं. This is absolutely necessary. Doesn't matter which upasana anybody does. आगे की उपासना करनी है, करो. This you can never ignore because we're living in the material world. उनका आशीर्वाद लो, and then so there'll be no obstacles here, and then you can go further. Then करो आगे की उपासना, दत्तात्रेय जी की, श्रीजी महाराज की, और जो है, whatever it might be, you know, Mahavir Swami ji ki. You know, in the Mahavir, in the Jaina temples, they have a Devi there. They have a Swarup of Devi actually at the feet of Mahavir. Somewhere on the side they have a Mata ji ki bhakti wo karte. Because they know that without the blessings of the goddess Devi, wo jo Atma Tattva that Mahavir Swami is talking about, we cannot realize, or Mahavir Swami, we cannot live like Mahavir Swami. We don't have no capacity to live like that. Some things to keep in mind about Upasana. Keep all this in mind. Think about it a lot. Ask questions about it. Let me stop here for now. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Reva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaya Viche Swaha Durge Rakshani Tha Swaha Shri Durga Arpanamastu Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu Om Hrim Swaha.